Welcome to NWA Power episode 28. Now, I apologize that this is late in the day, just a couple of hours before Dynamite. Normally, I would do it early in the morning, but due to the fact, as you guys know, I've been sick and I had to take medicine, it's been a lot. I mean, you're on a schedule where you got to take medicine every 6 to nearly 7 hours, and I got to take it 4 times a day, the medicine, to help with my stomach, because I got pretty screwed up because of some stupid ass celery. I cannot believe that I got sick because of celery. Go figure that my body can't handle celery, because that's what happened. But that schedule messed my normal sleep pattern up, so I've been out of whack. So I'm sorry this is late, but I have episode 28 here for you, and it is weird, man. But it's not a bad weird. It's just, what? Wait, what? That's the best time I'm going to give it. This is not going to be a long review because it's not meant to be long. This is just condensed down to its bare minimum. Now, Kyle Davis starts the show, and we get a little bit of a statement from Billy Corgan, or William Patrick Corgan, the president of NWA. He pretty much says, because Latimer and Adonis did not do their obligation the week before, because Aldis told them and Kyle Davis and the entire NWA there is not going to be a match. I am telling them not to go. It's not going to happen. They're going into the Battle Royal. That's it. You are not going in. He gave a statement that, 1, you got both Latimer and Adonis. They've lost their shot to get a title shot for the tag titles. They're done. 2, they got docked. They still got to come in, but they got docked. Also, Aldis got docked 1 month, along with Adonis and Latimer. And they've been ordered, if they do not come in next week, Adonis is getting stripped, and Aldis is getting stripped. They will lose their titles flat out if they do not come to the obligations, even though they're not getting paid. Now that is interesting, because normally in WWE we not see that. It's exceptionally rare they ever do that, maybe once a decade. And they do it properly. Mind you, this is if it's done properly, because we've seen this more than a couple of times in the WWE, but it's never usually done very well. Very rare. So seeing this in a statement that Billy Corgan had set up was actually way better than what the WWE would normally do. And doing it in the ring, they got it at a podium. They got the words scrolling up, which makes it a lot more real, which I kind of like. You don't see that often. So, we get the first match, which is Matt Cross versus Pope. Still the 6 minutes and 5 second challenge for the TV title. I wish they go to 10 minutes. I'm not, look, you guys may hate it. You may like it. Me personally, I think the stipulation should be expanded to 10 minutes instead of 6 minutes. It should still stay the way it is. If the guy who is holding that title wins 7 times, he gets a shot at the title of the 10 pounds of gold. I think that's still a great opportunity for anyone who's in the mid-card to lower card, since they don't have a lower card title. This is perfect for them to be able to see if they're really ready for it. So it was an okay match. I will say this about Cross. He does have a lot of ability. But since it's so limited to 6 minutes and 5 seconds, I think it's missing out. That's just me. You guys tell me below. And of course, the Pope won. This is 4th time winning. No problem. Isn't it supposed to be his 5th? But I guess this is 4th. He got 3 more shots before he can try and go after the 10 pounds of gold. No problem. Now, Austin Idol and Tyrus later in the broadcast come out. Tyrus is now going into the 14-man battle royal, and Austin Idol saying, maybe I should go back in there. I got the 20-inch pythons. You know I got my 20-inch pythons. And Kyle Davis is just... You know what this reminds me of? Kyle Davis is in the same position as, I forgot who it was, Mean Gene Okerlund, who had to deal with Andre the Giant. It looks like that because Kyle is so small compared to Tyrus. It makes me think of Andre the Giant dealing with Mean Gene Okerlund, or Bobby the Brain Heenan, or anyone else that is 10 times smaller than a Andre the Giant. It just looks like that. But he's not Andre. Because Andre wouldn't play around like that. I'm sorry. This is where the divergence comes. Where Andre, who's like this compared to Tyrus. Because Tyrus is not 7 foot tall. He's a tall ass man. But this is Andre. This is Tyrus. Tyrus would still be shorter than Andre the Giant. But the point is, Andre played around when he was with the commentator or the announcer or the interviewer. But he wouldn't play that much. Tyrus is overdoing it. He just looks stupid and hamming it up way too much for me personally. But he is not going to be in the Battle Royal. And then Austin Idol started having a paper handed to Kyle Davis, and he started announcing the names that might be in the Battle Royal. And he's saying, how did you get this? He says, well, I got connections. He won't say what, but that's how he felt. I'll say this, it was not a bad segment, but because Tyrus played way too much with Kyle Davis. It wasn't entertaining. For me personally, playing around a little bit is fine. Putting his hand on his head or even laying his head on Kyle Davis's head was okay. But if you do too much along with it, it negates what you're trying to accomplish. Saying because you're such a monster, you can play with whoever the hell you want. You can't overplay. You got to play just enough. And that's what I think. But I thought that mic was dead. I had to see it because it was blank. Sorry for the bop. But sometimes I have to check the mic because sometimes if the battery's almost dead, I won't know because I can't see the display where it is right now. So sometimes I get a little nervous and I don't want my audio to just go like that. Anyway, we now have a NWA non-title match of Rocket and Rosser, who is Darren Young, versus Credo and Stevens, non-title match. Why? I just don't agree with that non-title match crap. Look, if you're going to have them out there, why not do an interview? I just don't agree with it. Now, mind you, the match was fine because it did continue to build up that you got a division between Credo and Aaron Stevens. Throughout that match, Credo didn't want to tag in Stevens. And then because Credo didn't want to tag in Stevens, Stevens didn't want to tag in Credo. They're basically working separately as a tag team. And it was Aaron Stevens who won over a Rocket, not over a Rasher. I'm sure that was okay. But the question is going to be how long it's going to be before they break up. Now, will it be by their pay-per-view? My guess is yes. I think they're going to finally break up their tag team by the pay-per-view, unless they're going to do it now, which I don't agree with. It should be at a pay-per-view. Hopefully, Billy or William, will not go there and do it on the show. He should do it at a pay-per-view. Make it important. But that's just me. Now, we were supposed to have a Camille versus Thunder Rosa in their stipulation, but they pushed it to next week. Now, we did get Melina and Terrence Terrell pretty much hyping up what's going to happen next week. So, it's alright, but then it's like, why? Why did they pull it to the next week? Because of what happened with Strictly Business? That would make sense. And that's what I think might have happened, because it wasn't implied, but my guess is alright. And I really, look, May Valentine is a beautiful woman. Gorgeous. See a little bit of cleavage and a little bit of that titty. But she feels so very empty. Guys, I want her as a manager. I know many of you would say, you know what, just get her off TV permanently and let her work in the back. Because her personality is so... It feels like she doesn't really care about being there. But I truly believe if she was it as a manager, you would see way more animation from her. She would be more animated, more emotional. When you look at Velvet Sky now, she is getting much, much better in her position as a commentator. I wanted a Melina as commentator. But I also said when you guys heard me from the very first episode, when they came back, that Velvet Sky could grow into it and I can get used to it. Now she's doing it. She's still very soft-spoken. There's no lie about that, but she still feels valid. I'm glad. I'm glad she's really grown into the role of being a commentator. And we did not see Tim Storm there. He's supposedly on assignment. What does that mean? Was he at work? Because he has to work. He's a school teacher. He is a school teacher, so he can't be there every single time. He's got to work. So he probably was at school. That's just me, guys. Tell me below. Thunder Rosa versus Genocide. Okay, match. And I didn't say this, but the camera work is getting better. I think maybe it was due to the fact they're coming back early. Well, not coming back early. I truly believe that when they came back, they did not prepare themselves correctly with their camera work. Whoever was running production didn't call the people in and start doing what they would call mocked television shows. In other words, when they're supposed to be filming, they're not. They're doing a fake filming to try and get the kinks out. That's what I think they didn't do. What they should have done was to bring the people in for a couple of weeks, maybe about 2 or 3 weeks, and start filming the people in the ring so they can really get back into the swing of things, make sure the camera work is proper. Because let's be honest, the camera work was horrendous when they started up again. Now it's beginning to sort itself out, and it seems to be all right. But I'm still going to make sure that if they fall off the rail, I'm going to state it, because I don't play around here. Now, was Genocide versus Thunder Rosa all right? Yeah, it was good. And I wasn't surprised Thunder Rosa won. She was supposed to win. She's still going to go after the number one contender. If she lost, it would make no sense unless she had outside interference. There you go. Finally, the match that made me think, wait, what? You got the end with Orenson and his partner, I forgot his name, versus the War Kings. Now, at one point, we had Crimson and when it comes to Jax and when it comes to Crimson, they were going to split them off, but then they stopped it. Or did they put it on hold because of what's going on with Stevens and Kratos? I don't even know. The way it looks like they should have broken up first before Kratos and Stevens. That's just how it looked. But now they're not doing that. And then we have this match, which wasn't bad. Orenson is a good wrestler. I'm not saying he's bad. But there were a couple of botches by his point. And by the time it was nearing the end, and understand, because this is an hour show, they got to rush stuff. And when you see, and it's in my face, I have done a couple of, I'm sure I've done a couple of thumbnails in this. But when you see this, and even the commentators didn't know what was going on, because the ref basically ended it because they ran out of time. This match only had a short amount of time, and this is what happened when you only have an hour to do your business. 1 hour to film and 1 hour to produce a show. You need sometimes more. You need an overrun, and they don't got it. So when you see this match and you see that Jax Dean beats an Odinson, and his shoulder was already clearly off the mat before the hand of the ref hit the mat, they're going like, well, let's keep going. Wait a minute. Is it over? It's over. And that is the worst botch you can have, particularly when it comes to a show that's 1 hour, and sometimes you need an overrun of at least 5 more minutes. In this situation, the commentators tried to sell it. And at first they couldn't because they didn't know what was going on. And the ref should have at least tried to extend it, but he couldn't. Because he was probably told in the ear, we're done. This had to end now, no matter if they're finished or not. End it. And that's what we got. An ending to a show that felt very botched. But that's what happens with a near 1 hour show. That's one of the problems NXT had. That you do a 1 hour show, and in a sense, sometimes things kind of get cut at the last moment. Now, was the show bad? No. Now knowing that people have been basically, they lost pay, and if they don't come in, they're not going to keep their titles is nice. Now they're pushing Camille and Thunder Rosa's match next week is all right. Terrence Terrell being the Valley Girl. Oh my God. Ah! Oh my gosh. I hate it. Look, I love me Terrence Terrell. I marry me Terrence Terrell. She gorgeous. Just like Melina's gorgeous. But I can't stand the Valley Girl thing because it really doesn't fit Terrence Terrell. But this is what she's going with. She's trying to be annoying, and she's annoying more than she should be. But this is just me. And I hope you enjoyed this NWA Power episode 28. Please give me a comment below. I will be doing my Dynamite review. I am really sorry that this is late. But, like I said, I was taking medicine, which gave me a very weird schedule. And now that the medicine's over, I have to try and get back into a normal schedule of sleep, which, it's going to take me a while. Peace.